Okay, we got an 8 years ago video from Korea Gaming called Analysis Drugs and Competitive Gaming eSports Edition. Well, not edition, but eSports. Um, I'm curious.
Winners might not use drugs, but
Winners don't use drugs. Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation. So DOJ, FBI, winners don't use drugs. Okay.
people who win do, along with losers and pretty much everyone else. When I was an impressionable kid seeing this PSA at the arcades,
Oh, wait. What? This was on like arcades, but like, bro, I think, and I'm just going to guess, the purpose of this type of screen at this arcade was probably not talking about the drugs that are associated with abusing in esports. This ad from whatever arcade, what is this, like Gauntlet or no, TMNT? This type of ad, I would imagine, would probably have been directed towards the go-tos, like marijuana, meth, coke, uh, ecstasy, whatever else. Those were probably more of the targeted drugs they were talking about.
say at the arcades, it kind of confused me because I'd heard the term drug used in benign contexts as well.
Yeah.
Of course, I know now that the problem with drugs is that they're misused. Sleeping pills can be used to help deal with insomnia, but it can also
yeah.
be used for recreation.
Yeah, I mean, I use sleeping pills. I use like melatonin or whatever. Like, I got some fucking drugs for like sleeping if I have like a fucking shitty day or whatever, and I'm just like, if I really want to like conk out, it's like I'll just take some extra melatonin and just fall asleep. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Or in the worst case, rape. Because
Oh well, yeah.
there are countless drugs and
There is
even
that.
more uses for them, we have to draw the line for each one. There are the cheat codes to life that alter our body and brain chemistry, enhancing the way we feel
Yeah.
and operate.
For certain drugs and their purposes, it's easier to draw the line than certain other drugs, I think. And, that's what I guess we'll talk about.
It's no wonder why they're so popular in sports, and why they're often banned.
Get that ass banned.
Well, for sports, we're talking about PEDs, steroids, so on and so forth.
So what about in competitive gaming?
Yes.
I want to start off by talking about two drugs used in esports. The first one is caffeine.
Yeah.
While active, caffeine can improve memory, decrease fatigue, and according to the Radiological Society of North America, speed up your reaction times.
Oh, shit, the reaction time. Oh, my God. Caffeine is a drug, and caffeine doesn't carry the same connotation with it that steroids has. When people think of steroids, knee jerk, they think bodybuilders. But alas, there are non-bodybuilding sports that can also benefit from steroids. Just look at literally any sport. Fucking football, baseball, basketball, maybe golf. I don't know. Swimming, gymnastics, anything track and field. Look at the Olympics. Almost every fucking event at the Olympics can probably benefit from steroids. Yes, there might be a couple outliers that don't benefit, but like I would say most events, if not damn near all of them, can benefit from steroids.
One of the hypest moments in fighting game history was when Korean underdog Punko faced returning champion and legend Daigo Umehara at Evolution 2011.
And I think one line, or at least one distinction between what are acceptable drugs and what are not acceptable drugs is that acceptable drugs to use are drugs that you could get over the counter without a prescription. So caffeine being one of them. If you want more caffeine, just take some either like some caffeine pills or slam in a Monster or whatever to just get more caffeine in you. So, I mean, yeah, you could buy it, and nobody's really controlling how much. You don't need a prescription for caffeine, so whatever, just do it. Throw it back.
Punko would down a can of Red Bull and proceed to defeat Daigo, ending the set with a perfect round.
Damn. With a statement like that, you just slam some fucking caffeine and then you dominate your opponent. Bro, there's nothing more cool looking and like epic than that for, you know, like video games.
It's no wonder.
You know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like when Popeye squeezes the spinach can and he takes a huge shot of spinach and then gets jacked and then he just beats up Brutus. Or was it Brutus or Bluto? I think it was Bluto. It's the same thing. You get that, you take something, but you know, it's spinach. It makes you stronger instantly. And then you go on to do what you have to do all within like the span of 5 minutes. People are so attracted to that idea of just taking something, taking a pill or something within a couple minutes, them accomplishing their goal.
Energy drinks are popular sponsors for gaming. But caffeine isn't the reason why this video exists. Adderall is.
Oh!
Adderall is a prescription drug used to treat those with attention deficit disorders like ADHD.
Oh my god, it's the ADDs.
ADHD. If you grew up in the States like I did, there's a good chance you or someone you knew used this drug. By being a prescription drug in the US, it's very easy to obtain.
The Addy and the Riddy.
But in most parts of Europe and Asia, it's far less available and often flat out illegal.
Oh dang.
When Adderall is used by people who don't need it, it increases endurance.
Adderall, the new drug of choice for many major leaguers. Holy shit. This is crazy. To think that like real sports is like turning to stimulants because Adderall, Ritalin, and you know Vyvanse and the like are a lot of fall under the category of a stimulant drug. And Adderall is a performance enhancing drug that is being abused in baseball to the point of statistical absurdity. Doctors estimate 4.4% of the general adult population suffers from ADD and other disorders that would legitimize the prescription for Adderall. But this season, more than double the percentage of MLB players, roughly 10% of 40-man rosters league-wide, 119 players overall last year, presented baseball with notes from their doctor that they require such medication. Davis says he has had such a doctor's note in the past. For whatever reason, he didn't have one this season. Dang. And without one, it's cheating, says Dr. Richard, whoever. So, dang. The amount of focus that just Adderall gives. I mean, Jesus Christ.
And cognitive capabilities like alertness and
it does provide you with energy that you wouldn't normally have. Damn, dude.
Concentration. This makes it popular for students who need to study for long periods of time, but it's also very addictive and can even lead to death. For these reasons, unprescribed Adderall is banned in every major traditional sport.
Oh shit, okay.
While caffeine is not.
Well, it really can combat fatigue so that, for example, at the end of a game when someone would normally be completely wiped out, low energy levels, it can really boost them back up.
So where are we now in regards to competitive gaming?
Have you guys seen eSports and the E-League? I don't know if that's sport.
Let's take a look at the Electronic Sports League, aka ESL,
Okay.
the oldest and largest video game events organization. For a long time, they didn't have any anti-doping policies except for one vague line in their rules that states
to play a match, it be online or offline, under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or other performance enhancers is strictly prohibited and may be punished with the exclusion from the ESL 1. Okay. of any drugs, but like this is such a vague uh this is such a vague this sentence was made to be all encompassing, but you can't really like I'm looking at over at all my like vitamins and shit, which technically are drugs, or like a cup of coffee, or what about nicotine? Isn't nicotine have some focusing effects? So like, if I take up smoking and just slam cigarettes for the sake of having nicotine, or like if I just like bop on some fucking nicotine patches, am I because I just can't, I don't want to do cigarettes, but I do like nicotine, so I just slap on some patches. Like, is that against the rules? Like, it's so vague, but it's the purpose is supposed to be all encompassing. Like, no one is out here fucking drinking alcohol. This is hilarious. I never met like a person besides like the only person I've seen do actually well at a high level that is drunk was I've seen like one Super Smash player who has destroyed people while being drunk, and it's the funniest shit ever. Outside of that one outlying performance, people do not really consume alcohol for performance enhancing effects or whatever.
States that the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or other performance enhancers is strictly prohibited. But like I mentioned earlier, words like drugs and performance enhancers can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
Are they going to punish people for using energy drinks? What about Scarlett's admitted use of hot chocolate before StarCraft 2 matches?
What?
Having been around...
I had some hot chocolate one time before this match, and my skills went from here to there, dude. I swear to God, I was just over the moon.
Since 1997, you'd imagine the ESL would have banned specific performance-enhancing drugs like Adderall and other amphetamines a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it just happened in August 2015, 5 months before the release of this video.
Oh, damn.
In other words, it took them 18 years. Why so long? According to an industry...
I mean, it's still a thing in like modern day video game tournaments, and it's crazy. Like, here's the thing. There's two sides. I don't know what people want out of competition, because competition at the end of the day is for entertainment. I mean, at least to me. At least from an audience perspective, the primary function of competition is to be entertainment. But to the players, the primary function of competition is supposed to be the spirit of competition is to prove like, hey, I'm better at this thing than you. It's like pride, it's ego, it's confidence and all this other shit. So you have like two parties. You have like the audience, and I'm gonna fucking not even spell audience right. And then you have the player. Okay. Or players. And then within like these two, I think you would have to have like another category of like, what do you think the purpose of sports is? Do you think the purpose of sports is for like entertainment, whatever, or is it, what was the other one? Or is it supposed to are you supposed to have like competitive integrity and like fairness? So like fairness, competitive integrity, CI, whatever. So, and you can use video games or real sports for this. So with fairness, everything is even. Everybody's doing everything naturally in real sports and video games. Nobody's using any drugs, so on and so forth. But if you own the league, if you own MLB, if you own NFL, if you own NBA, you want your players to put on a show. You want the games to be 50-50. You want to have that the all the audience on their seat, like, oh, my team scored. Oh, but my team answered back. Oh, you want this back and forth of showmanship. You want to essentially, like, you're putting on a show. But like, you can apply drugs here in a fair way. I mean, how it currently works is like, this is not the case. So like, just look at the Olympics. If you like, drugs are really heavily regulated in the Olympics, but there was that one year with like the Icarus documentary on Netflix where, you know, some people that worked in the what was it, WADA or whatever, the World Anti-Doping Agency. There were people that worked inside there that essentially they were like some inside guys or whatever. Like, you know, they had all the urine samples for like some of the people, and they started like switching them out through like a hole in the wall for some shit to like prove that the players were like, oh, this urine's clean, blah 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 blah. So like, how do you regulate this? Like, you can't really regulate drugs. It's really like, how do you have to go by? Like, urine samples? Well, urine samples can get fucking hoodwinked because it's just people. It's purely a system where it involves people trusting other people to do the right thing. But you know, you can, if you buy these people off, then your athlete can be chock full of drugs and they can perform at the highest levels. And since nobody else is doing drugs, their performance is going to be like simply outshine everything. So yeah, so like, if this is like in the current situation, like, people say organizations are regulated by drugs, but players will still probably do drugs to whatever level. Who knows if they're like using it or abusing it for whatever reason. And that's just going to happen. So you can have like drugs regulated or unregulated. Like, I don't know. See, like, there's so many things because what is it? There's also that one enhanced league, an enhanced version of the Olympics that's actually just coming out and being like, yeah, we're just going to do the Olympics, and we're just going to tell you and provide you know, feedback for everything, and you know, all our athletes are enhanced. We're not going to say what, but or I don't know what the actual thing. I don't know if that thing is going to be good or bad or whatever, but like, if you have something that's regulated and is like monitored by your doctor, you would think it's like okay, but like, if it's for the sake of what do you call it, for a sport or for entertainment or whatever, it's like, you can't. I don't see how you can regulate drugs in sports or video games.
The insider, no one wanted to be the whistleblower who shamed their peers and community into losing sponsors. Not only does no one come out looking good from this, testing can be very expensive. A 2013 study from the University of Adelaide showed that there was only a 1 in 33 chance that a doper would get caught in a single test.
Dang.
At this rate...
Oh yeah, because there would be like a bit... There was also a documentary on Netflix about the guy that was doing this for like subsequent years in the Olympics. He would be the guy that you went to for like your designer steroids. So there would be like a big list of drugs that will get you banned. This is the big list of drugs that they are testing for. But then this guy over here is making brand new designer drugs, completely customized to like to the individual athlete. And you know, he makes the batch, mails them out, and he's like, just take this during your cycle or your training block or whatever, and you'll get like increased results, and you will not get popped because they're not testing for this. So even if you go off of the fact that there is a list that you will get popped for, you could simply take a drug that is not on that list. And is that cheating? Yes or no? That's going to be for each individual to figure out.
It would cost around $10,000 per athlete per year to effectively detect doping using the cheapest methods. That's a lot of money, especially for the FGC, and you can start to see why no one wants to touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
So after 18 years, what was the defining moment that would push the ESL to finally implement anti-doping policies? Let's watch.
The ESL comms were kind of funny, in my opinion. I don't even care. We were all on Adderall. Like,
oh yeah, everybody just has ADHD. We're all socially awkward. We can't think 2 sentences without fumbling over something or seeing shiny object, whatever, easily distracted. But whenever I take Adderall, I feel like I'm a normal person. Yeah, it's just I need a prescription. Yeah, people will morph their entire personalities and justify it for taking a drug simply for the sake of performance. I mean, and I don't know if it's like, if this is a good thing, it's a bad thing. Who knows?
I don't even give a fuck. Like, it was pretty obvious. Like, if you listen to the comms, like, I don't know, people can hate it or whatever.
Everyone does Adderall at ESALN, right?
Yeah.
Oh damn! Everyone does it. He's like, yeah.
Important to notice is that his admission doesn't come from a place of righteous whistleblowing, but from being tired of lying about why his team's comms were so off.
And the number one thing people always get mad at me for is like, oh, the C9 comms, like Synthesis comms. Yeah, well, there was a reason my comms were so shit at the LAN, and it just annoyed me.
His remarks forced the entire league to change its tune from doping? What doping? To we're fixing it right away.
Yeah, ESL leads anti-PED initiative for esports with the support of NADA. What is this, National Anti-Doping Agency?
I can't blame him for not wanting to constantly lie, but it just goes to show how...
Oh yeah. Bro, when you got no money and you're in a position of like opportunity, such as like a pro level sports team or whatever, and you have like an opportunity to like win even more money, and all you got to do is take a couple like drugs, most people would say like, hell yeah, sign me up. But the drug will take a couple years off your life. I don't care. I'm not worried about that right now. I just want the W.
How volatile the whole thing is. All that has to happen is one kid borrowing Adderall from his friend with ADHD, going to a fighting game tournament, and having his parents find out. It doesn't help that the media likes to blame video games for ruining society either.
We haven't even started talking about the corrosive influence of a violent-oriented world, TV, video games, shoot-to-kill video games.
Shoot-to-kill video, guns and violence in America. All of this. Bro, get ready for a bunch of this when the next GTA drops, GTA 6. Get ready for this again. This is going to be hilarious.
Why does any of this matter? Who cares if someone dopes on something that has debatable benefits in gaming anyways? Without
it's just a video game.
Getting into the intangible details of the spirit of sports,
yeah.
I think it just boils down to this. If we're going to enjoy a serious competitive game with lots at stake, we have to have rules.
I mean, yes, you should have rules, but what does the audience want to see? Does the audience want to see a complete, utter blowout of this guy's health bar and this dude just like sitting at 100%? No, the audience wants to see a fucking nail biter where there's a pixel of health there and a pixel of health there. They don't care. I think, this is what I would say, the audience of any competition doesn't care the fairness of it. I think the audience just wants to simply be entertained with the top level thing, be it a video game or a sport or whatever.
Video games we play all have rules which are determined by game design. Good game design allows us to enjoy a game more, while bad game design makes us frustrated and want to quit.
Superman out here catching strays yet again. Superman cannot catch a break. God damn it.
There might be debate on whether a parry mechanic or a focus mechanic is more fun, but no one is going to be...
I mean, yeah, like a lot of these like fighting games or whatever, in this instance, it's like the reaction time you have to have for like these like, I don't know, parry windows or in any other fighting games, block, parry, dodge, whatever. People want to see that crazy ass like one frame bullshit. People want to see that. They don't care what you're taking in order for you to get that performance.
Wishing for one-button infinites. If the rules within the game are important, why wouldn't what goes outside the game be equally important? I think the decision of whether or not we have an in-game timer is just as important as whether or not we should play head-to-head. We want the game to be a contest of who can make the best reads and nail the tightest links, not about who's the best at getting away with using harmful drugs that were purchased from corrupt.
And in an ideal world, I would agree. In an ideal world, I would want this to be like no drugs, everybody does everything naturally, whatever. And if that's the world we live in, and because that world, you don't have to worry about people putting up such crazy amounts of weights, or like the issue with I don't know, in baseball is like people are just literally throwing faster, and it's like insanely hard to like hit these balls that these pitchers are throwing like 100 plus mile an hour or whatever. It's hard because like if you take I don't know, like Adderall or whatever, it's a consistency thing. It's not just like a peak performance thing. It's also a peak performance at a consistent level thing. So I don't know. It's just a tricky topic to talk about.
Corrupt pharmacists. But as many of you commented on the side-by-side video, sometimes making these rules isn't practical due to cost and time.
Cost too much.
I can see that being the case.
Yes, in an ideal world, you know, I want everything fair, but like to apply and try to make this like a reality that you have to do like a urine test for, I mean, would it, if it costs too much, like how much would it cost to do like a urine test that is specifically looking for stimulant like drugs at a LAN event? And if it, and how do you even apply this to like, is it just LAN events, or what about online events? A lot of video game tournaments are simply run just online. People are just chilling in their houses, and you can't really regulate people in their houses. Like if you sign the thing that says I will not abuse Adderall, it's like, yeah, right before the game, I'm popping some fucking Addies, dude.
Here, but not here. So what's the worst that can happen if these players get away with it and win? Well, in Lance Armstrong's case, it practically ruined the entire sport of cycling. After winning 7 consecutive Tour de France titles, he was found to be using performance.
I mean, people, I think one reason why it ruined cycling is because in it of itself, cycling is not that fun to watch on just like a basic fundamental level. Cycling, watching some dude just do this is not fun. Now, when you apply this to more, I don't know, popular like North America type sports like football, baseball, basketball, those sports are more dynamic. They're more fun to watch. It's more of an audience experience with how many different things can go on. If people actually cared about drugs, they would push more for the drug-free version of, you know, MLB, NFL, NHL, NBA, so on and so forth. But since they don't push that hard, then it's like, yeah, take some designer drugs and you better not get caught, or else you're going to get fined or kicked from the league or whatever. Just know that.
Enhancing drugs and getting illegal blood transfusions.
Oh yeah, the whole blood transfusion thing. Like, that's a whole nother topic of cheating. Like, is that cheating? Taking like some souped up fucking blood? Like, what if you just like have a blood transfusion that just has like a bunch of Adderall in it, and it's like you take your blood out, you put the Addy blood in, and you're just like, you have like maximum fucking focus.
Did you ever blood dope or use blood transfusion?
But it's blood. How can you cheat? It's blood.
To enhance your cycling performance.
Yes.
He ended up losing all 7 of his titles, and because so many other cyclists were known to be doping, the titles were not given to the runner-ups. This means that 7 years of the biggest tournament in cycling are without a champion. That's like Evolution retracting and burning every championship title for Street Fighter 4.
Oh yeah.
7 years down.
Yeah, do you think this would ever happen? I mean, I don't know, like the legitimacy of like any of these players or whatever. I mean, hopefully they're drug free. But do you think this would ever happen in video games? Video games is just a new, well, it's not new. It's been around for like 20, 30 years. 20. It's been around for like 30, 40 years, but competitive gaming has been getting more and more popular. And it's like esports is the new kid on the block. Anytime you have like any sort of game where you're the new kid on the block, your entire game, your system is unregulated, and you can get away with taking drugs in like your new video game or your new league because it's the new kid on the block. The mistakes haven't been made. Much the same way with arm wrestling. You know, I like arm wrestling. I think it's a cool sport to watch and shit like that. But it's like, you look at some of the top players or top people, arm wrestlers, and you damn fucking right. These guys are literally drenched in PEDs. Of course they are.
Down the drain. So what can we do about it? I don't think anyone knows a perfect solution, but I think the best we can do is reduce the incentive to dope as much as possible.
How do you reduce the incentive though? Like literally how? The incentive is so much. Like if you win, you're the winner. You get clout, you get pride, you get accomplishment, you get sponsorship deals, you get money, you get recognition, you get acceptance. So how do you reduce that?
Even if the frequency of the tests aren't statistically foolproof, it'll curb some of it and
Yeah.
send a message that you can't dope for free.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to like start, if you want to like really put like a foot down on drugs and esports, then start. I mean, I don't know, because you know, I can understand you testing for drugs at LAN tournaments. It's like, okay, you do this P test and, you know, have the players all fly out like a week or so early, whatever the case, you know, they do the urine test. Well, I don't even know like then, because like if you do like a P test early in the week, then you can just start taking Adderall like the moment the urine test is done. So like you'd have to do a urine test like the day of or something. Because I don't know like what the acting time is, or what there's like a specific thing, the activation time for like when you ingest it, it gets absorbed in your body and then the effect happens. I forgot what that was actually called. Like, how do you regulate that?
Let me know what you guys think.
But like for sure, you cannot. It would be damn near impossible to like regulate anybody for any online tournaments or anything like that.
We should do in the comments, and subscribe if you like these videos. This was Gerald from Cornel Gaming, and thanks for watching.
Dang, dude. I mean, this video was made like 8 years ago, but it's still relevant today. I mean, he asked a bunch of good questions, but I mean, at the end of the day, look at like all the stick and ball sports or whatever. Like, those guys are still like getting away with PEDs. Like, they will say that like, yes, like if asked the question directly to like the owners of all this shit, it's like, no, we don't condone drugs. That's what they will say publicly. But like when the cameras are off and shit, it's like, okay, yeah, just keep going and blah, blah, blah. There's no actual like legitimacy to like any of this. So it's like, I don't know. I simply do not know. It's a good question and it needs to be answered. So yeah, I just thought this was a good video to watch. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.